Hi, my name is Annalisa Hoskins. I would like to take this opportunity to thank veterans for their service. We thank you so much for your service to our country, for sacrificing your freedom, and for protecting the red, white, and blue that we love. Today, I'd also like to send a special shout out to my grandpa who served in our U.S. Army. Thank you so much for your service and your love. Thank you to all the veterans out there.
Hi, my name is William Robertson, and I'd like to thank my Uncle Ryan, serving on the United States Chosin. Go Navy, beat Army.
Hi, my name is Grace Ruiz, and I'd like to thank our instructors here at West Aurora High School. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you for your service.
Hi, my name is Adam Perot. I would like to thank my great uncle Tom for his service in the U.S. Air Force. We really appreciate you.
I'd like to thank my Uncle Tom for his service in the Navy and all the other veterans for serving us. Thank you.
Hey Dad, I just wanted to thank you for your service because you're a pretty big idol to me and I appreciate everything you do. I want to say thank you for your service because you are a pretty awesome dad.
I'd like to thank my uncle Tio Lupe, who left the protection of my grandparents just so he can protect my family and his family, and all the sacrifices that he's done, like, don't go unnoticed.
Yes, thank you for all your sacrifices that you made for us, and happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you for your service. Thank you, we appreciate you.
Thank you for your service.
We appreciate you for all you've done for our country.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. We appreciate everything you do for us in this country. Thank you.
Good morning, honored guests and families, City of Aurora representatives, Board of Education members, Superintendent Dr. Jeff Craig, District 129 administrators, staff, parents, and community members, and the finest students in the state of Illinois, the West Aurora High School Blackhawks. Welcome to our annual Veterans Day Assembly where we honor all those who have served. My name is Charles Hiscock, and it's my pleasure to serve as principal of West High, where we firmly believe that the service and sacrifice of our military veterans is the foundation upon which our great nation is built. Every year, our students honor our community and our veterans by respectfully acknowledging their commitment to this great nation. At this time, I would ask for everyone to please stand as they are able and for the entrance of the color guard and the singing of our national anthem by the gospel choir. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Cadet Andrew Wong. Today's color guard is comprised of cadets from our Blackhawk drill team. On rifles, we have cadets Cynthia Ramirez and Natalie Garcia. Cadet Maya Talavera is carrying the Illinois flag, and Cadet Chelsea Smith is proudly carrying the American flag and commanding today's color guard.
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as the colors exit the gymnasium. Thank you to our color guard and gospel choir.
All right, thank you, everybody. Have a seat, please. So, good morning and welcome. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Eric Pettyjohn, and I am honored to stand before you today as we honor and pay tribute to the many veterans around the world and also to those of us who are with us here today, this morning in this assembly. At this time, we would like to recognize any veterans we have with us today from different operations and conflicts. If you are able, please stand momentarily to be recognized if you served our great nation in any of the following conflicts. If we have any veterans from World War II, please stand if you can. Outstanding. Any veterans from the Korean War? Nobody? How about the Vietnam War? Any veterans who served in Desert Storm? How about Operation Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom? And also, any veterans from any other areas and conflicts we have not mentioned. If you have not been mentioned, please stand to be recognized. So thank you again for your service to our great country. And before I continue though, I would like to, today is actually the Marine Corps birthday. So if there's any Marines out here, I'd like to wish you a happy birthday. All right, so one more round of applause, please, from all of our veterans. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Now we will honor those men and women who are prisoners of war or missing in action. We begin with the American's Creed. Written in 1917 by William Tyler Page, it reads, "I believe in the United States of America, as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy and a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union. One and inseparable, established on those principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity for which American patriots sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my country to love, to support its Constitution, to respect its flag, and to defend it against all enemies." Today, the IL-20141 Black Hawk Honor Guard is conducting a ceremony to show our respect for the heroism and sacrifices made by the thousands of Americans who have suffered and remained captive in enemy hands, as well as those whose fate still remains unknown. We also honor the memories of those brave men and women who were killed in action.
Detail, vote.
The detail you see in front of you has 3 riflemen, 1 flag bearer, 1 helmet bearer, and 1 dog tag bearer. The rifleman. He stands alone to demonstrate the loneliness of a prisoner of war. Far from home and loved ones, the prisoner has endured torture and years of isolation. The dog tags of a fallen soldier, designating the name and resting place of a soldier, so they will not be forgotten. Of Americans who are still being held prisoner, who are missing in action, or who are unaccounted for. We want these soldiers and their families to know we remember them. We want them to know that they will never be forgotten.
Peace and arms.
We will never forget.
Order. Arms. Out. Ace. Forward. Arch.
Today we are honored by the presence of many veterans. At the conclusion of our assembly, we ask you to stop by, say hello, and thank them for their service. We also ask that you dedicate your thoughts and prayers to the families who are still waiting to hear from their missing loved ones. Finally, we would like to thank those who have served in the past or who are currently serving our country in the United States military. Thank you for your service, your sacrifices, and your unwavering courage. Thank you.
Veterans are with us every day here at West Aurora. Please join me in recognizing our current staff members who are veterans. Will the following veterans please stand and remain standing as your name is called? Please hold your applause until all of our staff veterans have been recognized. From the U.S. Army, Mrs. Edith Anaya. From the U.S. Marine Corps, Mr. Ed Dopel. From the U.S. Marine Corps, Mr. Jesus Favela. From the U.S. Army, Mr. Mario Gonzalez. From the U.S. Air Force, Master Sergeant Scott Hellinger. From the U.S. Army, Dr. Charles Hiscock. From the U.S. Air Force, Mr. Robert Lundquist. From the U.S. Army, Mr. Jack Nelson. From the U.S. Air Force, Lieutenant Colonel Eric Pettyjohn. From the U.S. Air Force, Mr. Gregory Pierce. From the U.S. Air Force, Senior Master Sergeant Matthew Piershala. From the U.S. Marine Corps, Mr. Anthony Rizzo. And from the U.S. Marine Corps, Mr. Steve Williams. Please give them one last round of applause. You have our thanks. And now, to further demonstrate West High's support and involvement in our military, we recognize the students who will enlist in the military immediately upon graduation, or after they complete college. If we step back in history for a moment, we learn that General Douglas MacArthur served in the U.S. Army for 38 years and commanded troops during World War I, World War II, and the Korean War. In 1962, he gave his famous Duty, Honor, Country speech to the cadets at West Point Military Academy. He commended those students for joining what he called the Long Gray Line. This line of individuals contains the military members that in the past have held our very freedoms and existence as a nation in their hands. That responsibility will now be handed on to these graduating seniors as the Long Gray Line marches on. You have our thanks and gratitude, and we wish you all the best of luck in your service. When your name is called, please stand to be recognized and remain standing until all names are called. Please hold your applause until the end. Joining the U.S. Air Force, Salvador Irigoyen. Joining the U.S. Army, Isaac Ortez. Joining the U.S. Navy, Ismael Sanchez. From the U.S. Army National Guard, Tyranny Hicks. We thank you once again. You may be seated.
I'd now like to welcome the Lady Blackhawks Unarmed Exhibition Team, commanded by Cadet Natalie Garcia. In the past, the team has claimed top 5 placements at local drill meets, an Air Force Championship, and an Unarmed Exhibition National Championship. Last year's unarmed team placed 3rd overall at the Air Force Nationals Drill Team Championship. Please direct your attention to the floor and welcome our very own Lady Blackhawks. Please give another round of applause to our Thunder Guard unarmed exhibition team. And now, on to our next performance. In
Let's give one more round of applause for your a cappella choir. Now I ask that you please direct your attention to the screen at the back of the gym. Freedom does not come without a price. We may sometimes take for granted the many liberties we enjoy in America, but they have all been earned through the ultimate sacrifice paid by so many members of our armed forces. The following Blackhawks walked the same halls as we do every day. They sat in the same classes you sit in every day and attended many assemblies right here in this gym like you are doing today. In the words of President Lincoln in the Gettysburg Address, these recent graduates gave the last full measure of devotion for their country. So please direct your attention to the screen as I read their names. Army Specialist Christopher Patterson, class of 2009. Marine Private Nick Howe, class of 2002. U.S. Marine Corps First Lieutenant Tim Ryan, class of 1991. I ask you to please join me in a moment of silence in their memory.
Thank you, Mr. Scott Rickowitz, for playing Amazing Grace. And now for our next performance. In 1861, Julia Ward Howe wrote the greatest marching song in history. The combined efforts of our wind symphony and a cappella choir will perform this song, the Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Thank you to the Wind Symphony and the a cappella choir. Now I have the pleasure of introducing today's guest speaker. Colonel Paul Culberson is the commander of the Chicago District of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. In this role, Colonel Culberson is responsible for water resource development in the greater Chicago area, as well as parts of Indiana and Wisconsin, an area covering over 31,000 square miles. The district's primary mission focuses on flood risk management, storm damage reduction, navigation, emergency management, recreation, and several other key areas. Colonel Culberson was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Corps of Engineers after graduating from the New Mexico Military Institute in 1996. He went on to earn his bachelor's degree from LSU and entered the Army on active duty in 1999. Colonel Culberson has had a long, distinguished career serving in a multitude of assignments over the years. I will highlight a few of his career accomplishments. Colonel Culberson started his career as a platoon leader and then worked his way up to company executive officer and assistant brigade engineer in the 40th Engineering Battalion, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Armored Division. He then served as the division engineer for the 101st Airborne Division, with service in Iraq in 2003 and 4, and later as a company commander in the 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 101st Airborne Division, with service in Iraq. In 2006 and again in 2008, he served as the operations officer and task force planner for the Australian Reconstruction Task Force in Afghanistan. In 2010, returned to Afghanistan as an operations officer and executive officer in the 25th Infantry Division. From 2015 to 17, he served as the commander of the 7th Engineering Battalion in the 10th Mountain Division with service in Iraq and in support of Operation Inherent Resolve. In 2020, Colonel Culberson assumed his current position as the commander of the Chicago District of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. His military awards include the Bronze Star, Meritorious Service Medal, and the De Fleury Medal. Colonel Culberson has earned his Parachutist Badge, Combat Action and Air Assault Badge, as well as his Ranger Tab and Canadian Jump Wings. So let's please give a warm Black Hawk welcome to Colonel Culberson.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Pettyjohn. I'm a little bit in awe of this amazing group here and the tremendous ceremony that's been put forth to celebrate and recognize our veterans today. I'm going to call a little bit of an audible this morning. What I want to do first is we recognize our veterans that are here from our foreign wars and that currently serve or that have served. But what I would ask is, from the student body, if you have a family member that has served or is serving right now, can I ask that you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. I think today is obviously a day that we need to celebrate and respect and pay honor to our veterans, but also to our family members who, quite frankly, we couldn't do what we do. We couldn't serve this great nation without your love and support. Thank you. My name is Paul Culberson, and it's my honor to be here today to address this amazing group of young adults, and it's truly humbling to address you today. I'd first like to thank you, Principal Dr. Hiscock, for giving me such a warm welcome and granting me this opportunity to speak to the student body and to our veterans. I would also like to acknowledge and thank all of our veterans who have joined us today. It is because of you and many others just like you not present with us today that we're able to congregate freely in the auditorium and in this gymnasium. We celebrate Veterans Day on the anniversary of the armistice that ended World War I on the 11th hour, the 11th day, the 11th month in 1918. While I am a veteran, I am also a son of a veteran, and I'm also a friend to many who have served and continue to serve today. I'm briefly going to tell you about myself and my service to provide a little context for the remainder of my speech. I joined the active duty Army, as was mentioned, in 1999 after attending officer basic course, and I went on to Germany. As a lieutenant in Germany, I deployed a platoon of 28 soldiers to Kosovo for a peacekeeping mission. As a young captain with the 101st Airborne Division, I deployed a company of 180 soldiers to northern Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. And as a battalion commander with the 10th Mountain Division, I deployed again to northern Iraq with my battalion and partnered with the Kurdish Peshmerga forces in the fight against ISIS. And most recently, I led an Army Corps of Engineers task force in Iraq, where we conducted engineering and construction operations for U.S. and coalition forces throughout Iraq and Syria. I've been married to my wife Danielle for 20 years, and since getting married, she's lived in 3 different countries and in 9 different states. My oldest son, Hunter, is attending college in Colorado. He attended 3 different high schools before he graduated. My youngest son, Brock, is attending Waubonsee High School. Please don't judge him too harshly. He didn't have an opportunity to choose where he was going to live. In Illinois, when we moved here a couple years ago, he's had to change his sports team 7 times due to our moves. And my daughter, Bella, who's 11 years old, has had to make friends and leave friends 6 times since she's been alive. Instead of talking any more about myself, about my service, I'm going to talk about the incredible Americans who I serve with and those that came before me. Regrettably, I don't possess the words to sufficiently honor the service and sacrifice of our veterans and their families. I do, however, think we owe each and every one of them our deepest respect and admiration. Why do I think it's imperative that we demonstrate respect, honor, and pay homage to those who have and continue to serve this great nation, not just today, but every day? I'll tell you, because despite what you may have been told, my young friends, freedom is not free. It is not. It is born out of and preserved by the commitment and sacrifices of our courageous young men and women who bear arms. Service to this nation is not a job. It is a calling, and is the most noblest calling there is. Brave men and women who raise their right hands, swearing an oath to fight and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, some of which not much older than yourselves, and at times in our nation's history have been the same age as you sitting in this auditorium. By a show of hands, how many of you students here at West Aurora High are over the age of 14? Should be everybody, right? Okay. Now, how many of you sitting in the auditorium are 17 years or older? All right, take a look around, please. Raise your hands high, 17 years or older. All right. I want to tell you a story of Jack Lucas. Jack Lucas was born on February 14th, 1928 in Plymouth, North Carolina. After the bombing of Pearl Harbor, 14-year-old Jack forged his mother's signature so he could join the Marine Corps. When the Marine Corps realized its mistake a year later, Lucas was relegated to driving a truck in Hawaii. Although Lucas was lucky not to have been immediately just discharged from the Marines, he was not willing to sit out the war in safety or idly by. Instead, he stowed away aboard the USS Duel, a transport ship bound for Iwo Jima. Officers of the 26th Marines, unaware of the young Marine's age, allowed Lucas to join their unit when they discovered him aboard the ship. Jack celebrated his 17th birthday at sea on February 14th, 1945. On the afternoon of February 19th, just 5 days later after his 17th birthday, Lucas landed on the Japanese-held island of Iwo Jima as a rifleman with the 1st Battalion, 26th Marines, 5th Marine Division. On Lucas's 2nd day in combat, 2 Japanese grenades fell into the trench he was sharing with 3 fellow Marines. Lucas yelled grenade and pushed a fellow Marine out of the way. He then threw himself on one of the grenades and then grabbed the other one and put it underneath himself and pushed that black cylinder as far into the black volcanic rock as he could. Seconds later, one of those grenades detonated, sending more than 250 pieces of shrapnel into his body, causing grievous wounds throughout. Stretcher bearers came forward and carried Lucas to the beach, where he would eventually be evacuated to a hospital ship offshore. There he underwent the first of a series of 26 surgeries at the age of 17 to remove shrapnel from his torso, arm, and face. In 8 months after Lucas's heroic act, President Harry S. Truman presented Lucas with the Congressional Medal of Honor on October 5th, 1945. Lucas was one of 27 servicemen to eventually be awarded the nation's highest decoration for bravery during the Battle of Iwo Jima. My young friends, Jack Lucas is only one of many young men and women who have fought, and some paid the ultimate sacrifice in pursuit of preserving our way of life and creating a better world. Our service members and veterans come from all walks of life, rich and poor, black and white, men and women, Democrats or Republicans. However, when they put on the uniform of our country, those differences didn't matter. They love their country and everything that it stands for and make no apologies for it. President Reagan once said, "Freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same." And yet, most Americans today do not know a service member or veteran. In 1945, during the heart of World War II, there were approximately 132 million people in the United States. Throughout World War II, 12 million people served in our armed services, equating to about 9% of the population. What that means, ladies and gentlemen, is that every single family in America had skin in the game in World War II. Fast forward to 2022, we currently have about 330 million people in America, where 1.4 million currently serve on active duty. That equates to about 0.4% of the population. What does that really mean? You've got a student body of about 3,700 students here at West Aurora. That means that about 15 students in this student body represent those who serve currently on active duty. Just imagine that, 15 out of 3,700 students. The number of Americans who know a service member or veteran continues to decline. And you ask yourself, why is that? There are a few reasons. The size of our armed forces has decreased over the years, and the size of the armed forces directly impacts and feeds the number of future veterans. Simultaneously, our amazing veterans of past wars, and we have a few of them here with us today, from World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, Gulf War, global war on terrorism, continue to age and pass away. These courageous men and women leave a legacy of sacrifice and duty to country that we should all strive to emulate. People often ask me how we can honor and pay respect to our veterans. I believe the best way to honor our veterans and the sacrifices that they and their families have made is to earn it. And what that means or entails for each one of you will be different, and only you can decide what that means. Now I ask you to all think about that young stowaway landing on the beach of Iwo Jima, thousands of miles from family and friends, facing unimaginable and overwhelming fear, facing an enemy intent on ending his life and the lives of his fellow Marines. What would inspire and motivate someone your age to do such a thing? My West Aurora students, my Blackhawks, take a look to your left and your right. Our future veterans are sitting amongst you in this auditorium. It's the young woman sitting next to you in ELA. It's the goalie on the soccer field. The quiet young man who eats his lunch alone. Our veterans are ordinary people who made the choice to answer the call to serve something bigger than themselves. There is someone sitting right here in this auditorium willing to risk their life and pay the ultimate sacrifice for their fellow Americans and the ideals of this great nation. There is a Jack Lucas within our midst. And it should humble us, and we should be eternally grateful that such people exist. Once again, I'm honored to be in your presence. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Culberson. The next music selection will be the Armed Forces Medley performed by our Wind Symphony. We honor and salute the men and women from each branch of our United States Armed Forces and their families. The protocol is to stand if you are able when the song of your branch of service is played, and I invite students, staff, and special guests to do the same.
Let's have one more round of applause for the Wind Symphony. And now we'll have a performance by our Black Hawk Thunder Rifles Armed Exhibition team. Please direct your attention to the floor as the Armed Squad, commanded by Cadet Diego Velasco, performs their routine. Please note that last year's Armed team took first place at the Air Force Nationals High School Drill Championship. Please direct your attention to the floor and give them a round of applause.
permission to utilize your drill area, sir. Thank you, sir. Order, arms. Ready, up. Ready, move. Eyes, right. Ready, front. Ready, move. Left. Pause. Take off. Up, 2, 3, move. Split, park. Ready, move. Double time, arch. Left, 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 to right, left. About, hey. Ready, step. Report out. C-130 rolling down the strip. Thunder rifles on the one-way strip. Sir, Thunder Rifles Exhibition Drill Team has completed the sequence. Permission to exit your drill area, sir. Thank you, sir. For arms. Ready, move. To the rear, arch. Right flank, arch. Team, halt. Column of files from
That was pretty good. All right. Blackhawks, today we have had the privilege to be in the presence of a very special group of Americans. We owe them a great deal. First and foremost, we owe them our freedom, and today, especially, we owe them our gratitude. To all our veterans, West Aurora High School says thank you. Thank you for your unwavering service in peacetime and in war, here in this nation and throughout the world. At the conclusion of TAPS, please stand and join me At the conclusion of TAPS, students and staff are dismissed back to their first hour class. Please stand and join me as we pay tribute to our fallen soldiers by the playing of TAPS by West Aurora's very own trumpet players Elizabeth Gold and Jordan Story. Students are now dismissed to their first hour class. Thank you.